When it comes to having a replica belt collection, the most important thing is how you display it. It doesn't matter how big your collection is or how small your collection is or what titles you have or what titles you don't. The most important thing is how you display it. And I wanted to go over some of the best ways to display your replica belts. So first up, this has become very popular as of late. These are 3D printed belt hangers. So there's two to hold a belt. The belt lays out fully extended with no shadow box or anything needed. And one thing I like about this is you can customize them to whatever you want. You can have them any color you would like. You can have them white, black, red, blue, green, any color. And also you can have any logo you would like on it. You can have the WWE logo, the AEW, Ring of Honor, the WWF logo, and stuff like that. And a lot of people are getting into the business of trying to 3D print these and make them sturdy enough to be able to hold the belts and create a little side business out of it. So it's good for the community overall. Next up, this is an entire wall. So if you have a lot of room, and you have, want a bookcase style display, I think this is definitely a way you should go because it looks classic. It looks rustic with the wood and everything, and all of the belts pop and look fantastic on it. I think you cannot go wrong with a case for this. And then next up, this is a classic one. This is where everyone normally does starting off, and that's just hanging the belts on the wall, where they are going up and down. And you can get belt hangers for this. I remember back when I first started collecting, I did this display, and I would use thumbtacks that have the parts that point out, the plastic parts. Those would fit perfectly into the snap box. It doesn't look bad. It's a way for you to get a bunch of belts on the wall. As you see here, there's 6 in this picture with how they are aligned. So if you're limited on space, this is definitely a nice, efficient way to go. Next up, if you have a little bit of floor space, but you don't have a lot of money for a different sort of display, just shelves. These shelves you can get for fairly cheap at Walmart or even yard sales or Facebook Marketplace or anything like that. And it doesn't look the greatest, but it's a way for your belts to sit there and be displayed. So if you have floor room but you don't have a lot of money, this is definitely a route you could go. Next up is if you don't have a lot of floor space, but you want to display them on the floor, is this. And you can get these cases from Walmart or Target or anything like that. They're like, $25-$30. And you can just put your belts in it. The belts do fit. As you see, the World Heavyweight here fits perfectly into it. It's a small way to display it. It doesn't look the greatest, but most importantly, the part that everybody cares about is it gets the job done. And you can fit 6 belts, even 9 if you were to do the top. And then right here is Curio Cabinets. Now, I never really thought of Curio Cabinets as being a way to display my belts. The belts are possibly too big for it. And personally, I don't like the way Curio Cabinets look in a way of displaying belts. Curio Cabinets for more classic glass dolls or family mementos or anything like that. That makes sense. I don't think belts really fit into them nicely and looks nicely, as the wood and everything is really just throwing it off. But hey, if you have a curio cabinet, if it's empty, you have it there already, you can put some belts in it. And it doesn't look the worst, but there's definitely better ways that you can do it. Now this one, I absolutely love this collection here. It's a man cave. It's a man cave that a lot of people dream of having, actually. And there's multiple ways that these belts are displayed. So you see belt hangers on the walls, on the very back wall, as you can see. And just as I was talking about, a lot of these are modified. As you see with the blue Universal, it has the blue belt stand on it. But with the Undisputed, it is black. But really, most importantly, is that wall to the right. There's a cutout of the wall, and it has shelves on it. And it just looks fantastic. So another way is you don't have a lot of floor room. You don't have a lot of wall room. Shelves. And these shelves are fairly cheap, once again, $20-$30. Walmart, Target, wherever you may shop at. You can hang them at the very top right corner of your wall if you want. You can fit a decent amount of belts. As you see, there's 3 on each one here. And it doesn't look the worst. And if you have a larger collection, you can even extend it. I feel like a full wall of these shelves with the belts on it could look pretty nice. But definitely not a bad way to display it if you have very limited room, tiny bit of wall space left. Shelves are definitely the way to go. And they're easy to hang and they're easy to display your stuff on. Now, this is another form of a curio cabinet, but I wanted to talk about this one more, as this one looks better than the classic one that we took a look at right here. You see this one's small, it's classic, it's rustic, stuff like that, but this one right here is more modern. It is a full glass, and you can fit 2 belts on each shelf. Now, my only complaint about this is the way the curio cabinet is, and if the fact that it has the wood right here blocking the display and the view of some of the belts. That's definitely not the greatest thing to have, but once again, it gets the job done. If you can somehow get rid of that wood and it was just a big glass curio cabinet with no wood or anything, I think that could look fantastic and very pristine. And this one right here, there's a couple of ways, but the main thing I wanted to point out from this picture is Michael's football helmet display cases. So Michaels sells them. They're on sale a lot for like $25. And they are very reminiscent of the deluxe display stands that Shop used to produce a few years ago, and they don't produce them anymore. Why? I don't know. But as you see here, the Fiend belt is in it. There's a World Heavyweight in it, an Undisputed in it. So it definitely fits all shapes and sizes of belts. And you can also stack them. As you see here, the Fiend is stacked on top of a United States title. It's definitely a smaller way to display your belts. They're each in their own individual display case, and you can display them or put them wherever you may like, and it's also a nice cheap option. And going back to the other man cave looking one, this is a better image of the wall. So it's literally like a cabinet built into the wall, and it looks fantastic. I love the way the wood is on it. I love the way they have the Funkos on it, the little figures for each person who's like held the belt. As you see with like the IC, you have Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. For the Winged Eagle, you have Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan. The spinner, you have Triple H, John Cena. Let's see, who else do you have? NWO down there. That's just their own little separate display. But definitely a cool way to do it, and I love the way they have the string lights going under each one, so each belt is highlighted in bright light colors, and it looks very prestigious. And the belt stands they're using are just clear, and they're not very noticeable, and it also protects the leather. This one is perfectly executed. And then, of course, the classic. Let's talk about Wick belts. So we've had a few detolfs in these, but I wanted to go onto his. That's the main way that he uses his. That's the main way he displays his belts, is through detolfs, through IKEA detolfs. As you see, they're 4 shelf glass cabinets. You fit 4 belts in each one, 5 if you go on the top. I know IKEA did discontinue these, so they are like the last ones. They're not producing anymore, so the stock, once it sells out, it's gone. But they did redesign it with a new and supposedly improved version. I've not seen anyone grab those yet or display their belts in them yet, so maybe in a future video we will touch on that and try to figure out which one's better. But these are very simple, and it makes for a great display. Your belts are protected from water and liquids and stuff like that. It's a glass cabinet, so the door opens, the belts go in, close it up if you want to get them, easily access them, everything like that. And as you see, of course, with the detolfs looking right next to each other, they're all the same shape and size, and it just looks for a very prestigious looking collection. And then going over again, so these are the detolfs, but also I wanted just to mention you can stack Michael's football helmet display cases on top of the detolfs. And also one cool thing is the background. As you see here on the detolfs, the backgrounds have different logos. You have like the WWF logo for the Winged Eagle, you have the Scratch logo, the Block logo, then you have like wrestlers who've held the titles, like Roman Reigns with the Undisputed over here and stuff like that. So instead of the back of the detolfs being clear like this, and you just have the wall, you can put like designs on them, which I think looks very cool. And then this one right here, this is one of my favorites. If you have a small collection but you have a lot of belts, or you have a few sign belts that you want to display, shadow boxes are the way to go. And I forget who did this or whose these are right here, but I love the way they did them. They're themed for each belt. As you see down here, the World Heavyweight Championship. It's signed by Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. You have their side plates on the bottom, a shield background and everything, and the belt is perfectly displayed in it. And at the top, you have a WWF Big Eagle signed by Triple H, and it's got a Triple H background with the green and everything like that. And shadow boxes are such a nice, cool, and efficient way to display your belts. Now, I must warn you guys to prepare yourself for the grand finale, as this is the best replica belt collection I've ever seen, and it really encapsulates the best way to display your replica belts. Look at this right here. It literally looks like a store. That's what this reminds me of. You have the entire wall full and aligned with belts, like it's a superstore or something. And you have shadow boxes on the sides. You have belts just sitting on the shelves, on the wall, or on the table, and stuff like that. They even have an announcing table in their collection. How did they get that? But I love the way these belts are displayed. And this one, of course, you need a gigantic room dedicated to it, but this definitely takes the cake for the best way to display your replica belt. Just as the way it's executed with everything that is combined in this, it looks absolutely fantastic. So let me know, which way do you guys think would be the best to display your belts? Or if you do display yours, do you display them like any of the ones I featured in this video? Anyways, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.